The Gonzo, a brief biography on one Hunter S. Thompson. Life should not be a journey into the grave with the intention of arriving in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and proclaiming, "Wow, what a ride." Hunter S. Thompson. As you might be able to tell from the quote that I just read you, Hunter S. Thompson lived a carefree and rather extraordinary life, with many accomplishments and contributions to both journalism and counterculture that still hold relevancy to this day. I've broken down for you his life and accomplishments into three general categories: early years to gonzo journalism, novels and politics, and Doonesbury to death. It is my hope that by the end of this speech you'll be well informed, have a deeper understanding, and a healthy respect for a man that I hold in high regard. Let's get gonzo. Hunter was born on July the 18th, 1937, in Louisville, Kentucky, to Virginia Ray and Jack Thompson. He attended Atherton High School before eventually moving on to Louisville Male High School, where he got his first real taste of journalism. Joining the Athenaeum Literary Association, eventually getting kicked out for criminal activity after being charged in connectivity to a car robbery. As mentioned on Louisville's official tourist website, Thompson called Lewis home until he left for the United States Air Force in 1955, after which he wanted to further establish his writing career and embodied the gonzo journalism we know today. It has been noted that Thompson was a great admirer of writer F. Scott Fitzgerald, who also had ties to Louisville, as well from being stationed at Camp Taylor to enjoying cocktails at the Sealback Hotel, which provided the inspiration for The Great Gatsby. Whilst in the Air Force, he wrote for one of their papers. In a personnel report by Colonel William S. Evans, it is stated that Thompson has consistently written controversial material and leaned so strongly to critical editorializing that it was necessary to require that all his writing be thoroughly edited before release. Airman Thompson extracted from national media releases and added to his flair for the innuendo and exaggeration, which is a real statement to his sort of fuck you mentality, and in my opinion, the real starting point to his gonzo style of writing, seen in his latter works such as The Kentucky Derby as Decadent and Depraved and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. After being discharged from the military, Hunter went on to find other jobs in the journalistic world, eventually finding himself in Puerto Rico. There is where he would end up writing two books, one of which being his first novel, The Rum Diary, a fictional story about a man named Paul Kemp, who just so happens is also a journalist with a proclivity for alcoholism and getting into trouble. The book itself is wonderful in how you can just clearly get the sense that Thompson is writing about the world he himself is seeing at the time. Years later, Hunter would yet again find himself in a whole new world, that being the world of politics, running for sheriff in Pitkin County, Colorado in 1970. The political party he'd be running for would be known as Freak Power, a name meant to undermine and insult Thompson and his party, but one that he didn't particularly mind at all. In fact, he embraced it. Before one of his debates, Thompson shaved his head. He was balding, of course, and he proceeded to refer to his adversaries as his long-haired opponents, something I myself find hilarious and a way for him to let them know, hey, you're not going to get under my skin. As described in the movie Freak Power, The Ballad of the Bomb, the party itself was the collective energy of a mass of people trying to take control of our own political environment. And even though he had great interest in being sheriff, he opted not to run again after narrowly losing the election, deciding to continue his novel writing and journalism, gaining more and more popularity as he did so, becoming the sort of cartoonish character in the eyes of the people, something that did in fact bother him, but alas, chose to dive deeper into it. As previously mentioned, Hunter grew in popularity, due in part to some of his successful works like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but also thanks to his party animal lifestyle, being characterized as Uncle Duke in the Doonesbury comic strip published in Universal Press Syndicate. He became larger than life. People stopped seeing him as Hunter and more so as Uncle Duke. And this really bothered Thompson. He felt pressured to continue in this lifestyle of alcoholism and constant drug use, because that's what he thought people expected of him. And so he did, showing up to interviews intoxicated and caring less about his work as a journalist, and this led Hunter into a depression, one he'd never really get out of, eventually quitting his journalism career, leading a life of leisure on his ranch in Colorado, where, on February the 20th, 2005, Hunter S. Thompson would commit suicide. Hunter's legacy and his works still hold influence to this day. His larger-than-life personality, extraordinary lifestyle, has led him to becoming a poster child for counterculture. From joining the Air Force, running for sheriff, and writing prolific works of literature, he truly cemented himself as a staple for living life on the edge, doing things your way.